Footage of Blade walking into the room where Gucci's is sleeping with no pants on. The angle of the live stream camera only had a slight view into the bedroom, making what happened hard to see as only the lower end of the bed was visible. But a lot of people believe they saw Blade do something horrible there. Goose would later claim that Blade did what everyone believed happened, but she could not remember the event due to being so intoxicated. After all, the other streamers continued to draw on Willie's lifeless face. Perhaps if someone had been sober enough to comprehend the message being told to them, then the night could have gone mumuch differently. After the paramedics arrived, the streamers present at the house crowded around the EMT officers and continuously attempted to speak with them even after they asked several times not to be on camera as they were actively trying to save this guy's life. Due to the severity of his health complications, he eventually recovered. After a short while at a hospice, Willie would check himself out of the hospice against the advice of doctors, which explains the weakened condition he was in before his passing. Blade seems to think that Willie was improving and slowly getting better, which is why he was sent to a hospice, which just goes to show Blade's complete lack of understanding of how anything's information pointing to that. His father, a psychologist who was, at some point, hired as an expert witness on child mistreatment, directly told Max that he wanted to strangle him. Due to his father hating him, he ended up living with his mother, which led to another set of issues entirely. He's claimed multiple times that his mom was attracted to him. Understandable, since he gave a detailed description of an adult video and wrote half a page about how he was gay for his friend and suggested he wanted his friend to treat him like Mr. Myers treated underage boys. Not exactly in great taste, but still, it did fall under the umbrella of freedom of speech, and Max's suspension was once again lifted. But not before they contacted a tutorial on how to be a good white ally, which included the phrase, "Every time a white person laughs, a black person cries." Another highlight is his diatribe against fat girls, pushing it to the extreme and actively promoting anorexia to make a point about appearance standards. However offensive on the surface level, the actual beliefs that Max expressed in his office and had to rehash the explanation once again. But as soon as he was about to walk out, he was met by two police officers. Max claims that at that moment, he realized that the administration was exacting his revenge, and they reported him to the police as if he made a genuine threat. He was then questioned by the cops, excerpts of which he eventually uploaded to YouTube.
So, just
He was offered deferred prosecution, meaning the charges against him would get dropped if he simply committed no other crimes for a year, which he gladly agreed to. While Max claims that all of this was done with the intent of permanently stifling his ambitions with expressing his unorthodox perspective, it did quite the opposite. Now, the faculty advisor for another school paper became a fan of his work and offered him the position of opinion editor, which he happily accepted, partly an analyst. But this time around, he was less interested in being provocative in an intellectual sense, and more so in handing it up for shock value. One of his supposedly brilliant think pieces was a half-hour-long video of him naked and cranking it, which is still up on the hub to this day. Another low light of this period was a Reddit post he made to the unpopular. Missing piece in his rationale here is that those people were primarily popular amongst other teenagers, but regardless, I don't think he cared too much about the details. Another thing he failed to account for here is the fact that he spent over a decade of his life knowing his mother was attracted to him, going as far as to say he felt violated by her, even if he didn't act on it. Additionally, he attended AR in a dozen different ways, often by saying that the movie was mismarketed by Netflix and that it was actually against the exploitation. This point was also attached to the claim that the backlash came from Western audiences who were too dumb and chauvinistic to get it, since the movie was made by a Muslim woman. However, none of these copes remotely do justice to the fact that the movie explicitly depicts
New introduction to stand in solidarity with Stephen. Censorship is an increasingly huge problem, and huge corporations like YouTube or the government or whoever should not be reaching into my channel's pants without my consent and pulling videos out. You can call me anything you want if it makes you feel better.
The last ban Max suffered was on account of a mass flagging campaign coming from groypers. The thing is, these groypers only came into contact with Max because he started arguing with them over Destiny streams with Nick Fuentes. This, in turn, was recontextualized by Max as if his deplatforming was the fault of Destiny and his community. He proceeded to go to war with Destiny. Back in the middle of 2022, Mr. Girl released a video titled "You're My Real Doll," in which he talks to his girlfriend, Shaylin, about something he did that upset her.
Okay, so you've been pretty upset with me for the last few days. Because I said that you...
However, as the video goes on, it becomes clear that he is completely serious.
You have to get me off.
Yeah, and that's fine, but...
No, you have to.
I know.
Okay.
But I just think that the implication of it is scary.
I'm gonna do that anyway. It would be interesting to see what it's like for me to just The doll. Because the doll always does what I want.
Whatever aspects of this discussion that initially seemed playful, like him cursing at her or telling her to shut up, begin showing themselves as not playful.
Pushing your boundaries. It's not pushing your boundaries to ask you for something sexual. That's not pushing.
Asking me for something sexual on camera is pushing my boundaries. If I had known you were going to do that, I probably would have addressed that before we got on camera, but I didn't know you were going to do that.
The video